The Game of Life is probably the most open-ended game that has ever been created by the devs. Some say life is like a box of chocolates, it won't last long if you're fat. Others say that life is more like a movie. Well, maybe not mine, but I can assure you that life is really just a game, a video game. My parents have been telling me since I was a kid that my life has been completely ruined by my addiction to video games. But fortunately, I still have 2 lives left. The endgame objective for this game is freely chosen by each player character. Everyone truly plays it as they want. Some players choose the main quest of collecting the maximum in-game currency possible during their playthrough, so that when they finally switch from survival mode to creative mode by the end of their playtime, they can... not do much in fact with their pile of useless paper, because this currency is not really transferable between different game modes, you idiot. Other smarter players prefer to maximize certain skill trees in parallel with their love and friendship meters, or simply just enjoy the game itself. A round of this game for all players starts at level 0 during character creation. Once your character is randomly created because you cannot actually control it, poor me, the next progression is a tutorial that will last for about 25 levels to teach beginner players the necessary skills for the real gameplay that will start after the college degree achievements. This tutorial is really the game but on easy mode, because although the Game of Life is an open world game, this tutorial is highly guided by high level players of the adults race named professors, and low level players only need to focus on smartly placing their skill points and learning about the basic mechanics of the game. Most high level players I've met all tell me that this tutorial is the most fun part of this whole game, especially the university chapter. But for me and for all the players watching this video that are still trying to complete the tutorial, don't we agree that those freaking devs decided to do a crossover with Plague Inc. for the last update, which lasted for more than 3 years, that completely ruined the experience of this last chapter of the tutorial for many players. Devs, please just listen to the community feedback before doing any new updates. Speaking of the university chapter, when I was still level 18 at the time, I tried to join 2 of the most powerful clans on the English servers, Imperial College and Cambridge. I had everything prepared for the recruitment interview. My resume, my knowledge, my look, the classic questions, my good mood, stacks of cash in my pocket to bribe them. Maybe not that, but I was ready as never before to become a member of one of those 2 clans and to be part of the elite. Only to be rejected within 10 minutes of the interview because I didn't know how to demonstrate this thing. But you know what the pro gamers say, what doesn't kill you, gives you XP. So I didn't give up after those 2 defeats. I remembered my friends, my parents, my lover, my class teacher, my dog, and especially pressure from my Asian family whispering in my ear that if I didn't go to a good enough university to study engineering I would be a disappointment to family. So I finally managed to join one of the best clans in the French-speaking servers, EPFL. And now I've left it halfway through to make YouTube videos. I really wonder sometimes what am I doing with my life. But for normal players who do not rage quit the tutorial halfway through, keep in mind that although this university chapter is the most fun part of this tutorial, it's also the hardest. For example, when I was still in my clan, I got destroyed in almost every PvM fight. But after each fight, I always remembered what my master used to tell me when I was feeling down. Keep calm and blame the lag. For example, I remember once I was in a super important fight where my promotion was at stake, and I had finally managed to kill this boss when I had only 5% HP left. I was overjoyed because I had almost never managed to finish an entire boss fight before. But that's when I discovered that this boss had a face too. Motherfucking devs. Once the tutorial is completed around level 25, that's when the real deal begins. You'll finally get to discover the true gameplay of the Game of Life. And the first thing you'll notice, it has absolutely nothing to do with the tutorial, because the gameplay shifts from linear to open world and PvP starts. You realize that knowing the derivative of x squared at 0 is 0 doesn't really help much with the real world quests, and you have no other choice but to learn by practice. But why did you spend all that time and money doing a tutorial then, you ask? Excellent question, my dear, and I thank you for asking it. One of the biggest focus for most players after the tutorial is to generate in-game currency to keep their subscription alive, because without it, your gameplay stops and it's game over. Once past level 70 towards the endgame, most players enter another game mode called retirement, where they try to unlock achievements that they couldn't unlock at a lower level because they were too focused on accumulating in-game currency. That being said, most of those players just realized that they have just too many glitches in their character to really do anything anymore. My character sometimes also has this weird bug where my screen turns completely black and I get teleported to random locations on the map, with many high value equipments being lost. It usually happens to me after taking too many beer consumables during team quests, but that's a story for another time. I did recently hear about an expansion pack called the Metaverse that is in the making. It might be the hope for future high-level players with too many lags. But anyway, never forget this. Gamers never die. They respawn.